So, welcome to today's video. We are taking a look at my whips and my finished pages. And yeah, this video today will be a little bit longer because I've done a lot of things this month. Luckily for me, my new treatment against my chronic migraine seems to help really well. Of course, with how bad my situation is, it won't be gone completely, but at least I see that my situation has improved very strongly to the last month, and so I did have a lot of time now which I could use finally instead of laying in bed and can't do anything. So yeah, I was quite productive this month. The funny thing is I've started many whips for the first time in my life, because normally I'm more like I start one page and finish that, then start a new one. I've already told you guys in the last month that I now changed a little bit because of my medical condition, that I have at least a few different pages going on so that I can vary, that I have, for example, pages I can do while I'm laying down when I can't sit, because pages where I'm working with watercolors just doesn't work for me while laying down. So I have to work on a table sitting, so that I can vary depending on my situation. But now I went a little bit crazy with the whips this month. And this is because of my oil pastels. I already told you guys in the past that I saw working with oil pastels, I think on Maya's YouTube channel, and I thought, well, that really could be something very interesting. And then I wanted to do it for myself somewhere last year, I think around a year ago or so. And yeah, she told in one video that she are using the oil pastels from Mangyo, so I ordered a set from Mangyo. And I didn't look it up more. That was a mistake on my side. I didn't realize that Mangyo does have two different oil pastels, the oil pastels and the soft oil pastels. The soft oil pastels were the one I wanted to get, the one Maya is using, and I got the oil pastels. Of course, opening the set, trying them out, you can't send them back then. And I was stuck with this set. Those are very hard in comparison to soft oil pastels. Those are more like, they feel more like kids' wax crayons, so you can't really blend them well. There are a lot of papers that just don't really work with. You can't layer them because whenever you're putting up a second layer, you're erasing basically the layer beneath. So I really had to get a little bit more experience with oil pastels, especially with those, to really understand how I can work with them properly. What I realized is that most papers are just too smooth, so I thought about how can I make the coloring papers more non-smooth, and I immediately thought about the gesso I've bought years ago, because a lot of people in the coloring community said they're using gesso underneath watercolors, which didn't work out for me, and since then the gesso basically sat in the closet and I've never used it again. So I thought the gesso was really coarse, that should work well with them. So I started to putting the gesso on the areas I wanted to work with the oil pastels and going over them. And that worked a lot better. Then when I've done the first layer, I've added a second layer of gesso. So the first layer was basically sealed in, and then applying a second layer so that we finally got at least the paper covered completely with the oil pastels, because before that I had those super patchy look where some areas just didn't get any kind of the oil pastels really on the paper. It just wouldn't stick. So that worked well. Also, I've bought glazing liquid from Golden because Maya said she used that to seal the oil pastels completely. I bought by mistake the gloss glazing liquid instead of the satin glazing liquid, which she is using. But after then buying the gloss and the satin glazing liquid, I realized that I do like the gloss glazing liquid as a finish in the end to seal it in more, because it gives the whole thing a really nice little shine, and you have a smooth surface which can't damage the paper on the other side. The satin glazing liquid is a little bit rougher, not quite as rough as the gesso, but you have this kind of sandpaper feeling. It probably works well underneath oil pastels as well if the paper is too smooth, but my bottle of gesso it's like a 1 liter bottle, so I will use that for a long time before it's really empty. So what I did was starting using the satin glazing liquid underneath as a base layer for watercolors, because also on Maya's YouTube, thanks Maya for all the good tips, I saw or heard that she's using it with watercolors. So I wanted to test that as well, but something I did last month for the first time. Because, like I said, I wasn't satisfied with the gesso, and I also wasn't satisfied with watercolor grounds. Like you can buy those from, for example, Danny Smith, which is set to be put on basically every surface you want to color with watercolors. And the results with gesso and with the watercolor grounds were just always unsatisfying. They were, especially with the gesso, you had this super streaky results. When you're coloring with watercolors on it, it just felt like some parts of the gesso would reactivate, and you had that super slimy feeling of the colors. It was really nasty. So yeah, like I said, I really hated that, and that's why I tried the satin glazing liquid from Golden for that, and that works really well. And what I really want to try out as well is to using it on a very thin Amazon paper, to really test out if you can work with watercolors then on a thinner paper, if you have that, if it bleeds through or not. That I will do in the future as well. So yeah, basically I was on a total rampage to get those set empty, because I really want to have them used up completely and finally get to work with the soft oil pastels that I do have, just because yeah, that's so much more fun than those. So as you can see, I've used quite a bit of the colors already. Of course, there's a lot more to go, but a lot of the colors I really used quite a big amount, like this one or the black here. They are half gone already. So yeah, I did do a lot of oil pastel coloring this month, which was fun. even if it's not so fun working with those in comparison to soft oil pastels. But yeah, because of that, of course, I did start big amounts of WIPs. That's why I started an extra book for WIPs, just because in the past I had like 4 or 5 WIPs and I already forgot some of them that they did even exist. So I had one of my yeah, where I do a little bit of those getting the pages nicer little books to start writing down my WIPs so that I don't miss any. That's my normal coloring journal where I write down which pages I have done, all the color, all the materials used, all the color combinations from pencils, from oil pastels and the brands and so on. So sometimes I am asked which pencils or which color combos I have used for something, so I always can take a look at it, and even years later I do know what I have used. So yeah, okay, putting that aside, let's start with all the pages. We are starting from those where the least amount is done, and to the finished pages in the end. Animorphia was a book I've not touched so far, and that is my 25 prompt, I would say, to try to work in as many untouched books as possible, because I have quite a big collection nowadays, and basically touched like a little bit only so far. So Animorphia is probably one of my least favorite books, just because there are so many of those pages like draw things yourself, or do finish the pattern or something like that. It feels like every third page is some of these pages. And yeah, I don't like pages where I have to draw something myself, because I do draw myself. I do my own art. If I want to draw myself, I will do it. If I work in a coloring book, I just want to color. So I always try to change those pages the best I can without having to draw something. So basically, this is also one of those pages, the zebra. And I thought this has a very nice clean border. So basically here I've only put the gesso down. So that's also something I wanted to accomplish with pages like that. I want these sentences, these letters gone, that you can't see them in the end, so that we have a nice finished page without any words that you can read. I will probably do those just black, so that we have a natural looking zebra in the end. But yeah, that basically is so far only gessoed, and we have a lot of nice clean border here, of course. There with the hair, this will be a little bit more difficult, because especially these hard oil pastels, you can't really push them with something in the corners. I've seen on other channels that with the soft oil pastels you can push with some tools the color in smaller areas. That just doesn't work with these hard ones. So I try to use colored pencils in combination with them, which just didn't work. And what I now tried was acrylic markers, and that works very well in combination, because you also can work on the oil pastels, so you can blend it more easily or better into each other. Probably if you have liquid acrylic colors like in tube or bottles, that could work as well. I mostly have metallics, so that won't work with the non-metallic oil pastels, but yeah. So, sorry. I think I've got a little bit of hay fever at the moment. Yeah, basically this is just gessoed, but I will be doing that probably in the near future. This page. Then another page I've just gessoed so far is Joanna Basford's Enchanted Forest. That's a book I have done, I think, 2 or so, 3 pages already. And basically from the beginning, when I bought the book, this was one of the pages I wanted to do very soon, just because I'm working opposite to most people. I'm working from mostly from the least favorite pages to the most favorite pages, because I always think then I have the favorite pages to be excited about, that they are still in the book, and I can color them. And also the later I color them, the better I get with coloring. So getting basically the best results on the favorite pages in a book. Yeah, I'm a little bit weird on that. But yeah, that's why this page was on my list very soon. And I've basically used some washi tape so that I can work over the area and we still have the clean borders and the space in between. Washi tape works very, very well with oil pastels, I must say. I've used it now in quite a few books. You will see it in other books, how the results looks, and it works very well. Yeah, I'm honestly a little bit unsure with the symbols. If I will, I probably will draw them on that with maybe a acrylic marker or so in the end, because I can't let them blank. So maybe some stylized version of the symbols. We'll have to decide later on. But yeah, that will be also done in the near future. Then I have the Secret Rooms from Joanna Basford. I have, I think, only 2. Yeah, the Enchanted Forest and Worlds of Wonder. I have the English editions. I can say, or I've said it so many times in the past, the German editions have the much better paper. So if you are someone who wants the highest paper quality, buy the German version from Joanna Basford Books. There's only one exception, and it's the garden book. There's a German version of the 10th anniversary of the garden book, and I do have it because the normal version wasn't available in German anymore. And the paper they've used there is basically nearly identical to the English versions. So that's the only exception. Yeah, also just gessoed the end with the key. As you can see, I've done the washi tape here to just get a nice stripe and not have to color the whole page. I've done this with quite a few pages, not only now with the oil pastels, but also with watercolors and so on in the past, and I always do like it. It saves you a lot of time to not have to do the whole page. It saves you the trouble to get the color to these edges here, and yeah, it always looks beautiful if you have very clean edges in the end. So Yeah, that's also another page I have to do. Then I've said those were all the gesso pages now that are not done, but I have some pages layered down with the satin glazing liquid for working with watercolors, and I have one in Tales from the Forest Kingdom, which is so far the only one of my Hannah Carson book I've worked in. I've done a lot of pages in here already, but basically all the other books are untouched so far. The reason why I've chosen this one and not another one is that I have this page here, which is probably our next on-stream page, because this is one of the last results from a very, very old poll. I do polls in my Discord for the pages we are doing on live streams, and this is from one of the first polls, one of the few leftovers. The one we are doing just now and this one I think are the last ones. So basically I layered everything around her with the satin glazing liquid so that we can do a nice watercolor background. I thought that works probably very well with a page like that, where we have a lot of space around the characters. We don't have a scene, we have basically an empty background, so we can do a nice watercolor background here, and I think that will work very well with that motive. So yeah, that will probably be the next one we are doing. Then I have another one. I have a few books from Apple, and I haven't touched any of them so far. So this is the Forest Girls coloring book, and I've layered also with the satin glazing liquid this page, because here we have a similar thing going on, a very empty background. We could do a nice maybe darker blue or so background, which makes the feathers, if we do light feathers, pop out really nicely. And also this paper here is different. The thing is, the other books I have from Apple are hardcover books with a very thick and nice paper. This one here is different. It is a soft cover book, and also we have this thinner paper, which is, I would say, somewhere in between an Amazon paper on a nice standard thicker paper, somewhere in between. So it's not super thin, but it is thinner, and as it is an single-sided book, I thought this is a good opportunity to test if it will bleed through on thinner paper if you use the satin glazing liquid as an underpaint. And if it works well here, I may test out a really thin Amazon-like paper, styled paper on whatever book. So yeah, that's that. And one gessoed or satin liquid based page left, and it's in Twilight Garden by Maria Trolle. I have nearly all her books except for the newest one, because the newest one didn't come out so far in English, and I'm waiting for the English edition. Yeah, I haven't done a lot in her books, because that's the only one I think I've touched so far. No, it's not. I have done something in Luna as well, but I have done a handful of pages in both books. So yeah, definitely have to do more Maria Trolle pages in the future. Just tend to forget about her. I don't know why. So I've layered here the area around with the satin glazing liquid to do here a nice watercolor background as well. And then there is, next to oil pastels, something I did this month. And I know a lot of you guys are using the Distress inks and Distress oxides. And I have thought a lot about that in the past, if I do want to buy those or not. I have decided against it because, to be honest, they are very expensive. Yes, they do make absolutely beautiful backgrounds and so on, but it's just super expensive. And I didn't want to start to collect another art material, especially one where I have to pay a lot to get a good amount of colors. I mean, with the oil pastels, the set here, it's 50 colors, and you basically get for 20, 30 euros, you get a big set, and you have a lot of colors. You don't have any additional costs. Whereas with the Distress inks and oxides, they're very hard to get in Germany from the start. They're very expensive. You don't get any sets. You have to buy them all individual, at least here. That may be different in wherever you're living, but here. If I want to have a set or a collection with enough colors, that's hundreds of euros. And I just said it's too much, too expensive. And I thought about these brushes a lot of people are using with the Distress inks and oxides. And I thought basically ink is a liquid color. Even if it is in a stamp pad, it is a liquid color. And I thought watercolors are a form of liquid color as well. So why not try using this with watercolors? And I tried it, on a few pages. I will show you there. Basically just the first layer. We'll have to add more layers with the brush to get to the end results I am doing, but I just done a few pages. And when you're working them with watercolors, the page is in the end quite damp. So you definitely have to let it dry before applying a second layer. Also, what I did find out, don't use a lot of water with the color. Make them definitely when you are mixing the color, do it with a lower amount of water. Don't pre-wet this one. I tried different things out because I've never worked with those brushes. And basically what I did in the end, what worked best is mixing your color best on a plate, for example, on a flat surface, going in with the brush and then applying it on the paper, just like you would with the stamp pads from the Distress inks, for example. And I thought I'm using pages where they aren't my most favorite, just so if I will ruin it completely with them, it won't matter that much. So basically, yeah, I totally forgot to put washi tape here, which ended up with having here white areas. I just took one of those brushes with me. I do have, this is a set and there are very small ones, so I will probably use the small ones to get through this area better here. Yeah, like I said, it's only a first try. Sadly, I bent the edge, but it worked really, really well. I did it on the paper directly, no satin glazing liquid or anything underneath. And yeah, I think if you have watercolors, you don't want to spend a lot of money on distress inks and oxides, just buy some of those brushes. They are very cheap. You can get them for a few euros or dollars as a nice set. So yeah, you can do things very similar. I have already tried on another paper, not in a coloring book, just on another paper, if you can use like that stencils. And yes, they work exactly as they would with a distress ink or oxide. So I finally can use the stencils I do have with watercolors like that and use them for backgrounds, which they just sat in a drawer for years. I haven't used them really because they just didn't work. So yeah, super happy that this works now, and definitely will use that a lot in the future. Also, you can, when you're coloring over areas like that, you can always work over watercolor very, very easily with colored pencils or other media. So that's also very easy. Like I said, it's very patchy. It is a first try. I have, I think, 2 more pages I will show you now, which are similar. I will definitely add some more layers to it. Will probably need more time than distress ink or oxides because, like I said, between each layer you have to really let it dry. And it is wetter, so you have to be careful to not rub on one area too extensively because that can damage the paper. But yeah, so happy that it works. I've done a page like that, a base layer basically, here as well. I think that was the first page I tried with it. That's why it's so light, because I've used here a very watery mix, and that's when I realized the watery mix is not good. First, of course, because the color will be super light. It's just light red now, and also you can see here that's where the paper is damaged now, just because the color was too wet, too liquidy. So that's definitely something not to do, but first steps, first tries, you will have to test out. So yeah, that was a page I thought I would do for Mermaid. Like I said, I went so nuts with the background stuff with the oil pastels that I just didn't have enough time to do a lot of mermaid pages, but I have done a few. So yeah, that's basically a mermaid whip now. Then, oh yeah, those 2 books, the Maria Troll and the Louis Mayo book, were both already colored in. But the new book is this one. It's from the Top brand. The artist is Madalina Tantareanu, and it's called Reise durch Italien, which translates to Travel Through Italy. It is a whole series of books. I have had the first one for a few years now, and discovered that it is now a whole series, which a lot of books coming out in the next month. From the series, I do have the travel through Spain, I have travel through Germany, and I have traveled through the whole world. So basically they are all single-sided. They have a certain design where you have some kind of information on one side, which I find very neat, and some kind of drawing on the other side. So you can use alcohol markers if you don't have any problems that it bleeds through. I mean, all the information, of course, is in German, but with all the translation apps. It should not be that hard. German and English translates very well with those programs. And we have some kind of pattern in here, like we have a building or a landscape, a very detailed page, and then normally it comes more easygoing page where we have often some kind of pattern of food, landscape with architecture, food, pattern, architecture, food, architecture. Here we have a bird. Sometimes instead of food we have but we have a not so detailed, more easygoing page. We have more detailed pages, always in one after another, and I think that's quite nice because you have a nice amount of more easy pages, you have a nice amount of more detailed pages, and depending on your mood you can choose. So this was another page I have chosen for Mermaid because I thought shells and sea stars and things like that mermaids often use for jewelry and so on. So that's why that was a kind of mermaid page I thought about. It's basically about the coast of Italy, which is 7,600 kilometers long and is after Norway, Greenland, Greece, and the UK, the one with the longest coastline in Europe. So yeah, that's the information on this side, and I've based it now with the blue and a little bit of turquoise in the middle. Like I said, it's a base layer, and I haven't done, I should do put a washi tape strip on here because I basically colored a little bit over it, which I'm now a little bit mad at myself. But yeah, we'll definitely do that in the future. And as you can see, it's not really bleeding through, but if you're using too much water, you can get some kind of specks that are bleeding through. So this was also a page, I think it was one of the first I've done, not quite sure. But basically where I've used still a too liquidy mix. So yeah, we'll have to work over that. Then that was an untouched book. That was an untouched book, at least from my side, because I bought this one used, and there it came with 2 pages already colored in. And where's there? That's basically one of the pages that are colored in quite heavily here with colored pencils. What I've done with the other page and what I will do with this one as well is I've erased it as good as it gets. Of course, you won't get it completely go away because colored pencils just can't be erased that good. So I erased it completely, then base layered everything with the satin glazing liquid to work over it with watercolors. And after the watercolor layer, I will work over it with colored pencils. And I think in the end, most of that won't be visible anymore. I've done it with the Mickey and Minnie page here in the front. And we had the clouds, the water, and all of the clothing that was colored in. And to be honest, if you're looking now at the clothing, you won't really see a lot of the colored pencils that were used. You see it more in the water. You can see the streaks and the specks of orange. You see a little bit of pink on the white spots, but those can easily be worked over with some opaque white in the end, so that is the least of the problems. But yeah, I was so surprised first. It was the first time I tried working with the watercolors on the setting glazing liquid, how good it works, how nice it feels to work on it, and how nice the results are. No streakiness, no sliminess, no patchy results, and so on. It is just so nice to work over it, and I'm using super cheap and bad watercolors underneath my coloring pencils. So I think for working the backgrounds, I will use probably good student or even artist grade paints, and the results will be even nicer to look at, because the quality of the watercolor when I know I will work over it with colored pencils, I'm not using my best ones, because I have quite a few sets in my collection with low quality paints, so I'm using those for underneath. So yeah, super happy how that works. The results are amazing. I never thought I can work over areas that were already colored in with colored pencils that well. So yeah, I'm very excited to finish this page, and I'm super excited and curious how it will look in the end, and how much you can see in the end that it was an already colored in page, or if you really don't see anything from that. So that technique to erase setting glazing liquid, watercolors, colored pencils will be something I'm using on all my used coloring books where I have colored in pages, and that way I hopefully can use all of them, or at least most of them, in the future, because those were a little bit lost cases for me in the past. I've always thought I can't work over it so that you can't see it anymore, and that proved me so wrong. And yeah, I'm so happy with it. And yeah, I hope that maybe this, if you also have second-hand pages that were already colored, and I really hope that this may be an interesting help or technique for you as well to use for your books, so that you can finally work on those pages as well. Because sometimes you buy a second-hand book and the pages you like the most are already colored in. And that is always something where I think, why did you use exactly that page? Why not some other page I don't like it as much? So yeah, finally that will be an opportunity and a technique to use with already colored in pages. So like I said, Words of Wonder, I have the English copy. That was also a book I haven't touched so far. And basically what I especially try to do with the oil pastels, because if you have soft oil pastels, there seems to be a high amount of white in those. They are a lot more opaque than these non-soft hard oil pastels. They are surprisingly a lot more transparent, so they are not the best to cover up. But what I want to also do with the oil pastels is cover up areas with a lot of text. We often have nice pages with the impressum, for example, of the book, and where you think, oh, that could be a nice page if this impressum text wouldn't be in it. And what I tried to do was covering up texts like that, and here, as you can see, the result isn't good. We still can see all the impressum text, so I will have to go over that with the soft oil pastels I do have, to really cover it up completely. Also, as you can see, I already told you guys that those hard oil pastels, you can't blend them nicely. So we have very harsh borders in between the areas, and the end result here, I just don't like it. So I probably will have to go over it completely to get a better, nicer result, and especially cover this up completely. So in the end, that page will look like there never was an impression to begin with. I've done this with other pages very successfully, so I know it is possible. Also will do all the little areas in between with probably a pastel yellow acrylic marker. I do have some pastel yellow acrylic markers, so we can blend those in together and then get the colors hopefully pop better. But yeah, I'm honestly thinking about doing this with lighter colors, so that really the more strong colors are here with the flowers. Maybe pastel yellow, light orange, something like that. We'll have to see what works well over the colors already used. But yeah, that's definitely not a finished result here. We'll have to work over that. Quite a few of the all pastel pages are still a work in progress. I do have some that are finished, but quite a few I will have to work over it with a third layer. So in Mein Frühlingsspaziergang from Rita Beermann, I have 2 pages. Yeah, I know we are now basically in summer, so I will normally have to switch it, but I now have those 2 whips, and I probably will finish those before I'm going to the summer book. The first one was this here. I've done 2 pages where I just used black, and I thought here we do have a very clean border, which is easy to work with the oil pastels. I've colored or smudged some of the color, sadly, on the flowers here. I try to erase it. With a normal eraser, it doesn't work as well, but I've come to the experience that with an electric eraser, I've bought this normally just for a few techniques to get some lighter areas when you're already colored in with colored pencils, because in my experience with normal erasers you don't get as many color off the paper. That's why I've bought an electrical eraser to begin with. Never wanted to have one, but I bought it for that technique, and then I realized this works best with if you smudge some of the oil pastels over it. I don't have the experience how well you can work over that area now with other medias, how much of the oil sticks here. Probably won't work as well with water-based mediums like watercolors, but hopefully I can work over it with colored pencils without any problems. So yeah, that's done. I just wanted to have it black so that the colors really will pop from the page. Also in the set were 2 black sticks, and I haven't used them, so I thought, okay, I have to do something with them. So it is the first of the black ones. I have done this one here as well, which I'm again super unsatisfied with the result, because it's just, it looks so nasty. So I definitely will have to work over this with the softer oil pastels to get better blending here and a better end result. I'm not sure what color I will use in between here. If I will color it with, for example, a gray acrylic marker or gray watercolor or so, or if I will do another color. But I think if I would use gray, we have maybe not an extreme color pop like with a black, but still it will pop a little bit off the paper, and I think it could look quite nicely. Sadly, because those oil pastels that I have that are so hard and so hard to smudge, I tore the paper. I was so mad at myself. So when I've finished this one here completely, I will put a little bit of a Tesa strip on here. We call it Tesa, like the brand in German. I'm not sure how. What do you guys call this in English? Yeah, just so that the paper won't tear more, and because I haven't colored the page on this side, I can't put anything on here. So it will have to be on this side, and probably in the end, when I have colored this somewhere in the future, I will put something from the other side as well, just to protect it from tearing further. But yeah, so unsatisfied with this here, and I have to go over it again, which really is problematic with the tear in the paper. But hopefully in the end it will look better as it looks now. Then this book was already colored in. I have done a few pages in it. Mythomorphia was also an untouched book. So I have done this all the answers page here. As you can see, I've used some washi tape here to not that all the answers won't be covered in the end. I'm at the moment not sure if I will let these white like that, or if I will fill in with some acrylic marker, for example, to get it to a green like that, because I think the problem with putting in a dark green like that, which I do have with that, is first probably I won't have something similar, but the main problem is the black won't be as visible with a dark green in between the letters. So at the moment I probably tend more towards letting it be like it is. I will have to use some kind of, hopefully I have some kind of olive green acrylic marker in my little set to get it to the border here. What I probably do with those pages where I don't have the exact color shade in an acrylic marker is put something similar as an acrylic marker on, and then going over the acrylic marker part with some colored pencils. I've seen other people do work over acrylic markers with colored pencils, so that works definitely. I've seen it on quite a few coloring channels, so that way I will cover up a little bit the areas to get it smoother result color-wise. So yeah, there I only have to do that to have at least the oil pastel part done. Of course, I will have to do all the things here, which will be leaves, those nuts. Are they considered nuts? I'm not sure. And we have some tree branches, some twigs. So that will be probably some kind of mix of greens and browns. So in the end, there won't be a lot of color. We have like one little flower and some, yeah, we have a moth and some dragonflies. So a little bit color maybe from that, but the rest will be browns and greens. Then another untouched book is, I think it is called Mystical Jungle in English, Mein geheimnisvoller Dschungel. So the titles are often a little bit different in German. Why do I have dirt on here? Don't like that. So yeah, it was an untouched book, and I basically used a similar color combination here and this was the impressums page. You can't read the impressum anymore. You can't see that there ever was an impressum. So yeah, sadly, I don't know why I've done the covering for the butterflies way too big. So there's a lot of white area now, which I will have to look up that I do a good job with the acrylic marker and the colored pencil. And the same will go then here for this area. And then I will do all the leaves around and the butterflies in the end. And then we have a page that will look like just some page somewhere in the book. Won't be knowing that there is ever used to be an impressum on it. But I don't know how good you can see it, but maybe a little bit you can see how uneven those hard oil pastels are. We have areas where we really have big chunks, some areas that are smoother. So yeah, definitely something that also doesn't look as nice with those hard oil pastels in comparison to how nice it looks with soft oil pastels. So if you ever buy oil pastels, please definitely take a good look at what kind of oil pastels you're purchasing, that you don't make the same mistake as I do. Also, very big thing, the first ever oil pastel page I did was with, I think it was a Prussian blue, so dark blue, and the color ghosted completely through it. You saw a lot of the blue on the other side, which was not so problematic. It was like not completely single-sided, but like in R.J. Hampson books where you just have a little image on the other side. So it wasn't a big loss, but since I've used the gesso underneath, never I had a bleed through even with the dark blue again. So definitely, even if the paper isn't the problem, I will always use either gesso or the satin glazing liquid as a base before using oil pastels, before I have ruined a page on the other side, because not all colors, but some colors just tend to bleed through. That's also something very important, I think, with oil pastels. So it's really good to use a gesso or a satin glazing liquid underneath as a protection for bleed through from the oil pastels. So yeah, that is the Magical Jungle or Mystical Jungle. I'm honestly not quite sure what's the original title. Yeah, then Words Within Words from Kirby Rosans. Also an untouched book. With the Kirby books, I also did realize that the German version, if there are German version, not a lot of the books are available as a German version. The Mythical Words, for example, there's a German version from it, have the better paper than the English one, and also the French books have a way better paper than the English books. That's why I have the Words Within Words here in the French edition, because the paper is a lot thicker in the German and the French version than it is in the English version. And especially the new reprints of some books have very thin paper in the English versions. So I highly recommend, if you are now ordering some of his books, if you can get a hold of German or French books, I highly recommend buying those over the new printed English versions, because the paper got a lot thinner in the newer versions. Because I have bought second copies from my favorite book of him, like The Words Within Worlds, Mythomorphia, Mythical Worlds, and I'm not quite sure, Alien Worlds, yeah. And that is when I realized that the reprints had a very thin paper, so I sent them back and ordered French and German versions if I can get a hold of those versions, just so you know. So that's the other side I've done with just black. Here the compass page. I thought when I do this compass in some kind of brass optic or gold optic, then it will really pop off the page if we have this black background. And it's one of the few Kirby pages where you have a very nice clean border, where it's easy to use oil pastels. So yeah, that's why I've used oil pastels. And honestly, if you are using oil pastels, using your fingers and not want to get up, wash your hands completely to get to the next color, to not have too much smudging between a light and a dark color. What is very, very helpful to clean your fingers in between are baby wipes. I just bought a pack of baby wipes, and yeah, it really cleans your fingers perfectly. You get all the color off the fingers, and you can work your page with multiple colors, clean your fingers, and don't have to get up 20 times to wash your hands. It's very, very helpful, just as another tip. So yeah, this is the compass page. Then Coloring Haven Africa. I don't have a lot of Coloring Havens because they are super expensive in Germany. It basically cost double the price in Germany than the original price. If the book here, it's £7.99, you probably get it for 15 euros in Germany. It's just too expensive. So this one I've bought. We went on a weekend trip last year to London, so that's when I've bought this. I've bought I think 3 Coloring Havens in the year before we did our summer holidays in southern England. And I have, I think, 2 issues I've bought secondhand. So yeah, I don't have a lot of them, sadly. Like I said, I would buy more of them if they would be more available, or not available, but cheaper in Germany. Think it's quite funny that we are very close to the UK, and it is so expensive here in Germany, whereas other countries are on the other side of the world, and they get those a lot cheaper than I do, where the travel costs probably are so much higher. So yeah, sometimes it's interesting. But yeah, I thought I'd try, because we all know the paper in those magazines is basically like an Amazon normal copy paper. And I thought I'd try if I can work with oil pastels on a thin paper like that. And yeah, it worked very well. As you can see, I've also used washi tape here to have a clean border, and I thought I will do it in yeah, basically this typical, those vases, the typical clay earthy red color you are getting or seeing, especially with traditional or older pottery from all over the world. And green is the complementary color of red, so I thought a green background to this earthy green, earthy red pottery in the end will look hopefully quite nicely. So yeah, done it. Of course, you can see it through a little bit more, and you have quite the warping, which is probably not from the oil pastels, but from the gesso. But yeah, it works. And definitely will also now look more into books with thin paper if there are pages where I can use the oil pastels. So that was also untouched. I've started it here because I thought I have a handful of Coloring Haven magazines and haven't touched any of them so far. So I've finally started at least one page in one of those. So here we have the garden book, where I said the 10th anniversary German edition has the same or nearly the same kind of paper than the English versions of Joanna Basford books have. So that's basically the only German edition where the paper is similar. If you are getting a hold of the normal version of the book, that's different, but I just couldn't find any seller or any second-hand version of the original book. So that's why I stuck to the 10th anniversary. And I didn't thought that, because it's a German version, I didn't thought that the paper here is completely different to the other books, because even the new book has the good German paper. It's just the anniversary edition that doesn't have the German paper. Totally confused why. I don't know why they've done it, but yeah, I have basically started, I think 5 or 6 pages in here with oil pastels, and the first one, or better said, it was the last one I did, basically is a total disaster, and I'm super unhappy. It's one of those pages. It's basically a double page spread where here somewhere you could read the lines, finish the flowers, finish the pattern. I have succeeded in covering the line up completely. The color combination, I came to this combination too. I've basically looked in the oil pastel set and looked up the colors I haven't used so far. So that's where I come to the dark green, this pinkish color, and this earthy yellow. You can see I've used washi tape here again. Probably will use a completely different color for the background here, just because a dark green won't work well with all the greens from the leaves. So we will I will let this border be harsher, or maybe blend to another color. I'm not sure how to do it, but definitely will be another color for the back area here. Yeah, but I'm very unsatisfied because the colors just blend horribly, or basically they don't blend at all. So I will have to go over at least the area in between two colors with some of the softer oil pastels again to get a better result. Yeah, it looks very nasty. It looks here nasty. You can see there are some specks from the darker color on here, and you really can see these uneven results you get with these hard oil pastels. They are probably very nicely if you're working on a paper especially for oil pastels. Probably we'll get completely different results, but here the results are not very nice. Then I've done these two, and I like this side there, the colors blended better, and I think the end result is for these hard oil pastels quite good. Of course, always soft oil pastels would get a much better result, but it's as good as it can get with them. So yeah, I'm honestly thinking about doing all the background with a dark blue and letting the leaves basically pop off the dark blue with a light color, maybe a light blue or so. Could be looking quite cool. This page I don't like. I have the same problem here, that the blending between the colors just didn't work as well. Here the color combination just worked better. Here the blending, it's just hard edges, and I will probably go over it here with the soft oil pastels, at least in the border areas, so that we get a better result, because I don't like how that one looks, to be honest. Not quite sure if I will continue with this dark magenta-like color as a background color, or I will do another color in the background here. Haven't thought about it, but yeah, definitely will have to work over it, especially here the border between the yellow and the pink. It looks just horribly. Then I have done these two pages. So yeah, I've started quite a few pages in here, just because this book is basically, I think it's probably, yeah, like the Animorphia, the book with the highest amount of doing your own pattern for drawing the rest of the flowers and stuff. We have so many pages like that in here, so that's why probably I've done so many pages in here. And especially with those here, it was just so easy, because we have a big areas with a relatively clean border area where you can use. I love the color combination here, but as I said, those aren't as opaque, and you still can see the fill in the blank area with the pattern on both pages. So I definitely will have to go over it again. Sadly, I did smudge a little bit of black on here. Also, I didn't use a washi tape, which in the end I'm a little bit mad at myself. I mean, it's not so terrible because the outer color is very light, but I would have, if I would have put a thin stripe of washi tape here, I would have a clean border, which looks better in the end. But yeah, this side I like more as this. The color combinations are similar but not identical. So the colors here I like a little bit more than this side, but I will have at least this area with the wording to work over again, either with the soft oil pastels or again with another layer of the hard oil pastels, because here it's probably more easy to find a similar color, but this has a very, it is like an earthy dark magenta, and I think that I love the color, it looks very beautiful, but I probably won't have an identical color in another set. So yeah, we'll have to see if I can work over that. But yeah, like I said, the color combination here I do like. But yeah, so fantastic. Nee, Lost Ocean. It is my Fantastic Ocean in German. That's why I named it wrong. But the original title is Lost Ocean. Like I said, whenever titles are translated to another language, it's often not the same title in that language. I really don't understand why. But yeah. So I have 2 of the oil pastel pages, and I have, where it is, I mentioned it earlier, that's momentarily our on-stream project, this page here. So we are now at base layering with watercolors. We have a little bit left with the green, and then it will be turquoise green and gold yellow. And we will work over it with colored pencils, maybe also with some metallic watercolors. I haven't done these flower areas here because I'm just unsure at the moment which color to use for them. Doing them in green, doing them in yellow, I'm not sure at the moment, so we'll leave them white until I know what will look best. But yeah, that's basically our on-stream project at the moment. And the funny thing is, this is my very first coloring book. I've bought it 2016, so that's why I have quite a few pages already done in it. And there are quite a few Johanna Basford books where we have, I always call them stripe pages, where we have thinner stripes of a motif and a super big blank area, and they always had me thinking, what the heck do I do with the background if you just have a small stripe like that? And now I tried here with this stripe page putting a stripe, a contour stripe with the oil pastels. And I think that works very, very well with pages like that. I really, really like how it looks. And I'm at the moment unsure if I just color in the motif and let really be here a harsh white border so you can see a clear break between the background on this, or if I do a light blue background, for example, with colored pencils, watercolor, or even a pastel chalk. I'm unsure. If you have any ideas or if you have an opinion about that, you can let me know in the comments. Maybe it helps me to decide what to do. But yeah, I do really like how that turned out, and definitely I will use this technique a lot with those stripy pages in the future. And I've done this one, and this is one of the few that where I say it's completely done. I won't go over the oil pastel areas. I absolutely love the color combination from the dark blue to this green. I've already gone into the edges with this yellow-green acrylic marker because I didn't have a similar color, but I think here I don't have to work over it with colored pencils because you can just say it's another color shade. We are going basically from the dark blue to the yellow green in the end, and I think it looks quite nice for, again, as nice as it can get with those hard oil pastels. But yeah, I'm happy how the color combination turned out. I'm happy about the end result, and can start coloring those somewhere in the future. That will definitely be one of those pages that will take ages, like, oh, I've done this most terrible page in here already. Where is it? That took me so long. I basically started it 2016 and finished it, I think, 2 years or so ago, because I didn't touch the page for ages. So yeah, that will be also a page that will take ages to complete, but yeah, done here, and maybe I will do somewhere in the future do an oil pastel background here as well. Then Imagimorphia by Kirby Rosanes. That was the first Kirby book I owned and the first I colored in, so that's the book that has the most colored in pages. Normally when I do my polls in my Discord channel, I leave the polls open so that when people join the Discord later on, they still can do all the other polls for pages. And when a page didn't get any votes and I say I want to do it off stream, then I will delete the image. And normally I always double check if a page got a vote and before I start coloring in it. Sadly, here I had one page that I knew it didn't get any votes, and I didn't double check before I started it. I don't know why. I just wasn't thinking about it. So I've done now the background with the oil pastels, and somewhere in between the last checking this page, double page spread got a vote. So I'm really sorry about that. I can't change it now, but at least the main image isn't colored in, and that definitely will be done on stream. I have already marked it with this year. I have some different colors for on stream to the pages I do off stream, so I can easily spot the difference. But yeah, this was, I think, the second page I've done after the Lost Ocean page. That's why I have the same color or similar color combination here, because I love the color combination so much. I thought, oh, I will use it on another page. And of course, this is probably one of the worst pages you can use with oil pastels, because of all the little small areas and all the delicate details. Never do that again. I also did a little bit of different color combination. I had a light purple here, from the dark purple to the blue. Instead of the blue, I had a light purple, but it didn't look so good. So on the second layer, I gone over with the dark blue and then gone to a middle blue, and then to the light blue, and then to the green. As you can see, we have barely areas where we used the green, and had to work a lot with the acrylic markers for all the areas in here. What I did realize, when they're still wet, you can smudge them over the oil pastels or into each other with your finger. And here also the Baby Wipes works wonder on getting those stuff off your fingers, by the way. Yeah, and I just realized I have totally missed a spot here. Darn, we'll have to do that little area here with the light blue. But yeah, I think in the end it looks okay. It's definitely not perfect, but it looks okay. I hope it will work with the color, with the color scheme I already chose for the horse. I thought in the end, if it looks terrible in combination, the color scheme I've used here, which will be more monochromatic. So if that works well with the background, good. If it looks in the end not very good, I will probably just go over all the areas again with probably some kind of liquid metallic acrylic color. I really hope I won't have to do that, because especially here with all the little areas, that will not only take ages but also will be very hard to do for me. So really hope that in the end it works well with each other. So yeah, that will probably also be one which is very high on my to-do list for the on-stream, that this one and the one in the Hannah Carlson book will probably the ones I will do next, just because that is already started and I don't want to be that the WIP is for the next 2 years in the book. So then, of course, I've also done something in Dark Fairy Tales, the new one from Kirby Rosanes, but I've chosen a page or a double page thread that probably no one have chosen because I've seen a lot of pages in the book, but no one chose the impressums page like I did. And of course, I wanted to get rid of all the impressums information and yeah, the other text. The only thing I wanted to be left was venture down the forbidden forest path if you dare, because I thought that the sentence was quite cool. So yeah, I have to do some layer over acrylic marker here, here, and here to blend it more smoothly with the rest. My plan was to imitate some wooden planks and then color this area in brown so that it looks like carved wood in the end, like if you have a chest and you have carved in a border and just a simple wooden plank rest of the lid. That was the thing. Of course, I had to use quite amount of the soft oil pastels here because there was a lot of text. Some of the text was really printed more thickly, so I just couldn't cover it completely. So I did the first layer with the harder oil pastels, and then I did go over it with the softer ones. So basically the brown base layer is the hard oil pastels, and this ochre and the reddish and this beigey color I've done over the hard oil pastels. And yeah, the black between the planks is also the hard oil pastel. So yeah, the border area here looks a little bit nasty, unsatisfied with that, but I think the rest, the result did come out quite nicely, and when the page will be completely finished, you will never know that it was the impressums page. It will look like hopefully like a page somewhere out of the book. So in the end, I'm quite satisfied with how it came out. So then Mythic Worlds, or well, like I said, it's the German version, Mythische Welt. I've done one page, I think it was on Halloween in October last year with the Baba Yaga, so it was not a completely untouched book, but I have only done this one page. And somewhere after that, I done this one here, and then I completely forgot about it. That was the one I completely forgot about. The only thing I did now was use one of the softer oil pastels just for here, for this stripe, because there was the Mythische Welt or Mythic World title on it, and I wanted it covered completely. So I just did that, and as it was the third page I've ever done with oil pastels, I didn't use a stripe of washi tape here. That's why the border looks not so nicely. So in the future, like I said, I'm always doing that. Can't change it now. I thought about, because you can see it a bit with, depending on how you hold it, the area where I done an additional layer with the soft oil pastels, you can see it depending on how you hold it a little bit. So I thought about doing it all the way, but then I thought, oh, then I have again used a lot of soft oil pastels, and if you're holding it correctly, you won't see it that much. So I thought, okay, I will leave it like that. Doing that Medusa head, then and hopefully it looks like a normal page in the end. Yeah, that was that. And then I thought, yeah, there's another impressions page that could be done with oil pastels, and it's also a double page spread. And I think, I mean, all the images around it, it looks so beautiful. And whenever you're coloring, I've already done it in other Kirby books like the Imagemorphia, coloring all the areas around it, but it always looks a little bit unsatisfied in the end. It doesn't matter how beautiful you color it, just because of the impressums text doesn't look so nice. So I worked, don't know, I think 2 or 3 layers with the hard oil pastels and didn't get good coverage of the text, so I had to go over it a little bit, at least with the soft oil pastels, so that I could get that completely covered. I'm at the moment here at work with the acrylic marker to get into all the little areas. I've done from here to here, so I still have this area left and this side left. What I did realize, because I'm using the gloss glazing liquid as a finish, I have a little bit of a sheen, and the acrylic colors, the acrylic marker, don't have that. So I probably will go over the acrylic area with the gloss glazing liquid in the end, so that it, depending on how you put it, doesn't pop out so much. So to get a smoother end result. And yeah, what I want to do is adding stars in it, because I thought we have the moon here. So a night sky would be nice. And we have the lanterns here, which of course I also will add some probably yellow or so not oil pastels, colored pencils over the blue then in the end, or even some yellow acrylic marker over it, to get a little bit of a light effect. We'll have to do maybe something with the moon as well, some kind of whitish glow. Yeah, but like I said, want to do some stars so that we have basically the night sky and the beautiful design around it. And yeah, I'm quite happy how those turned out. So 3 pages in Mythic Worlds. Then the flower book. I don't know what's it called in English. It's A Paradise Full of Flowers in German, but the title is probably different in here. Worlds of Flowers, it is in English. So yeah, here I have the name page, done a nice border with the washi tape. Also here, I'm unsure what color I will use as for the background here, if I will continue with the blue or if I will blend the blue into something else. But yeah, something dark probably, so that the colors will pop out nicely. And yeah, I'm quite happy with how it turned out, because here it's one of the better results from the hard oil pastels. And yeah, definitely this will be done with some oil pastels as well. I probably will put washi tape border here, so that we will do on both sides a stripe of oil pastels to cover that one up completely, and then coloring in the flowers. So yeah, I'm sorry if you hear my tummy grumbling. Yeah, definitely that is something I will do with a lot of Impressums pages where we have beautiful designs, and I was always so unsatisfied in the past with coloring in this. So yeah, we'll do that of course with pages like that as well. So yeah, Words of Flowers. And that was an untouched book, The Words of Flowers. So another untouched book was the newest one from Joanna Basford. Is it Magical Journey? Or what's it in English? Magical Words. Okay, it's Magical Words. In German, it's Magical Journey. That's, like I said, why not Magische Welten or Magische Welt, which would be the direct translation from Magical Words. So unsure why they changed it from Words to Journey, but yeah, it's the newest one. And I've done the end page here, and I've used the hard oil pastels, and I wanted to blend it to a green like that, and I didn't have this kind of pastel green in my hard oil pastels. I only have this warm pastel green, which I already used on the other pages, and I didn't want to have the same color combination again, so I used one of the soft oil pastels here. That's why it looks so much better here. Yeah, really happy how that turned out. Again, I'm unsure what background color I will be using, but to complete the white area here. But yeah, happy how that one turned out. So that are all the oil pastels. We are finally done. Then I have one WIP with, depending on my own art, we haven't finished a page because that will take ages. We are now doing the scales, as you can see. I have drawn them all by hand. I have already colored in those areas, but we have, and that is already colored in, but we have still this all of them. I color them all individually, so that takes a lot of time. I also have to do, in the end, the metallic gold from here and the earrings, and of course background color will be added. But yeah, quite happy how it looks so far. Also the eyes aren't finished, but yeah, still a work in progress, but I think in the end it will be worth how much time we put into the scales. Already I think it looks really nice here. So that's my personal WIP from my own art. Then we have some more WIPs, old WIPs. That was also some WIP I totally forgot I have in the beautiful color book, Colorful Time. It's a watercolor coloring book from Google Lee. It's a watercolor paper. And I call him the Little Emperor. I started that actually as a color along and a tutorial at how to work with this paper, because it's a little bit different kind of watercolor paper, and you have to work a bit differently on this to get nice results. And I started it probably a half or so year ago, and then totally forgot about it. Also the last half year I did struggle so much with my health. I didn't have the time to work on it, but that's very high on my priority list to finally finish not only the page but also the tutorial and color along video. So yeah, our little emperor. Then on the other googly coloring book, Find Color, I had already talked about it in the coloring plans video. I do have the mermaid page here. I haven't worked on it just because basically after my all pastel rampage, over half the month was already gone. I knew if I started on working in here, I never could finish this page. So I thought, okay, I will let it be for the moment and don't stress myself out. And I don't know if I just finish it over time, over the next month, whenever I want to do some watercolor art, or if I wait to next year. I'm totally unsure, but yeah, someone it will be finished. Those double page spreads, they definitely take a lot of time. Still one of my absolute favorite pages I've ever done is this one. And yeah, that double page spread basically taught me how to work with this paper, because I have done on this area like 9 layers on some areas, and you see there's not even a little bit of bleed through or even a ghosting, so you can work very well with the paper if you know how to do it. And that's why I did start a little emperor page, because people asked me how to work on it. And this book here, which I call 80 Designs because it doesn't really have a title, I've bought in a dollar store in Germany, and it basically cost €2. It's a hardcover book with 80 coloring pages on a 200 GSM watercolor paper, and it is the same watercolor paper we have here in these books. And it was an untouched book. You did see the WIP probably last month. It is this flower page I've started for my spring coloring. I did add the third and the fourth layer with the lighter red with a darker red, and I'm now started the fifth layer with the violet, basically the deepest shadow. We'll probably do, at least on some areas, a sixth layer, like here where we have these folding lines in the end. But yeah, this took so much time. I thought they are big flowers, they don't take as long, but because of the many petals they still have, even if the petals are big, it needs a lot of time to do. But I think in the end it will look very nicely. Then when I've done all the petals, I think the envelope will go very easily, because it's only 2 areas, and as those are big areas, there will be a lot faster. I'm unsure if the background will get some color or not, but yeah. Whenever I want to do some watercolor coloring, I'm now working on that, and when this one is done, then I will switch to one of the googly images. So that's this one. Then I started the page in Mythical Mermaids for Mermaid. And this is a book I momentarily have in my office. I always have one book in my office so that I can do some coloring when my kids at the day when my kids are awake. And I always use books with a thinner paper where I just can work only with dry medias like colored pencils, because those don't need a lot of time to prepare. If I work with watercolors, I have a lot of preparation before and after, and this I can't just let it be. I have my little helpers where I put my brushes or my colored pencils in, and I have multiples of those, so I've one is always occupied with the book I'm at the moment using, and I just scan the pencils I'm using for the area. I let them in that and just put it to the side, and that is very easy for me to do over the day because I don't have any preparation time, and I can start coloring and I can stop in between the coloring. With watercolors, I just can't. When I would color this area around, I can't just say I stop here because I will get a drying edge, so I will have to finish it, and that is just not so easy with the kids. So I tend to use books like that. This is from Martin Noble, and it's the Dover Coloring Book series. There is another, what is it called, Creative Haven or so, book series that has basically, also from Martin Noble, the same images as this books, but without the explanation. So I like this version more, because here we have the explanations to all the legends. There's basically mermaids from all over the world, which I love that it's not just your standard mermaid legends. So we really have all over the world. And I'm not really good with dark skin. I know that dark skin is a lot harder to color. So I wanted to do some motifs, more motifs in the future, so that I get better with dark skin. And that's why I chose The Fish Husband, which is a Nigerian legend or fairy tale about a girl that falls in love with a merman. And yeah, I've done the skin last month, and I done his tail, which took me ages because I colored every scale individually of his tail, and I started her tail, but like I said, I'm just doing, I just work on it when I'm in the office and I have the time for it, and I didn't have a lot of time, office time, when I'd be able to do color. I didn't have a lot of time to color there after my oil pastel rampage, because I took my oil pastels there and done a lot of oil pastel work there as well. So yeah, it got a little bit to the side, but I definitely will work on it now and want to finish it. I wanted to do her tail from purple to a soft pink, so that we don't have the same colors on the tails. But yeah, definitely will finish it in the next month. Probably not do it completely in June, because like I said, the time I'm working on those books which are kept in the office is very, very little. So yeah, I call it office because it's basically my room, my office, my coloring room, or whatever you want to, working room, whatever you want to call it. It's not really an office where I go to work. I'm not working anymore. I'm fully retired because of my bad health situation, because of disability. So just not to confuse you guys. So I have this book from Selena Fennick, which is basically a compilation book of 4 of her mermaid books. And I've only colored in 1 page so far, and that was from the Calm Ocean book, I think, the Indigo Girl. this was the page I've done for Last Mermaid. And I thought, that can't be. It's such a thick book. Basically, it's 4 books in one. And I wrote a page. And whenever I had it in my hands, I said, oh, mermaids, I do on mermaid. I really have to do mermaids more often because I have so many mermaid books. So yeah, because of the very cool blue petrol turquoise color scheme, I wanted to do something opposite of that, something warm. And I chose to do the Pearl Princess, and that's one of my completed pages for this month. Not a lot pages done, but at least I still did work a lot this month. Just not finished a lot, but I at least done a lot, which is a lot better than the last few months. So what did I use for that? For the border, I used Hybrid Gold gel pen. I've used the Hybrid Dual Metallic gel pens and Guangna gel pens for the bubbles and the jewelry parts and the nails to add some shine and some glitter. I can show you. Some of them do sparkle a bit. A white gel pen here for the highlights. And basically everything else is colored with the Oboz watercolor pencils. I haven't activated them with water. I just use them as normal colored pencils. And I've added some opaque white to the highlighted areas. Honestly, I haven't wrote it down, but it's either a white Prismacolor pencil or it was the rest of my white Derwent Colorsoft pencil. So I'm not sure which one, or maybe I used it up the one and done it with the rest. So the Oboz pencils aren't the best ones. There are mine were pretty damaged. I've already told you guys that in the past they had a mold on it, so I got over 50% off them. They break a lot, and they are a bit more on the streaky side. But what I really do like is first the color scheme. I'm super happy how it turned out. And second, I was finally brave enough to really do highlight some areas with the white. And it's not perfect, of course. I will have to look that I blend it more better in the future. But also, of course, the blendability with the Oboz is limited. So some of it is not because of my technique, but of the limitation of the pencils. But I really do like how it turned out to get a little bit more light and shadow that way on the skin. So I will definitely work with that in the future and get better at that. Yeah, I looked up color schemes, or not really color schemes, but I looked up mermaid tails that you can buy, and I saw a tail which had basically this color scheme, which I colored the hair in, from soft warm pink to purple, cool purple, to warm purple, to pink again, and then to orange. And that's what I colored in the hair. And then I thought, if I really want to have it as harmonious as possible, I will do the tail and the fabric in similar colors. So I basically, for the tail, I used the same color combination I had in the hair, but just part of it, and the same I did with that. So I basically, for the tail, I used the warm violet to purple to orange, and I used the cool purple and the pinks in here, and the only thing I've added, which I didn't have here, was the very dark cool purple for the dark shadows, but I think that works well with the dark blue background. So yeah, basically I've used the same colors in all the areas, just in different combinations, and I think that technique really helped me to get the page more harmonious and not in the end get to a result where it feels too overloaded with too many colors. Really love how that turned out. I've used for the background, I've used actually Copic markers. As you can see, they bleed through because it's a single-sided book. That works well. It is also very thin Amazon copy, like copy paper, so no wet media on that paper normally. Yeah, it warped because as you can see, I press way too hard with my pencils. But yeah, I really love how that turned out. I think I love the color combination. I would definitely use this color combination in the future again. Then we have finished a page in Time Traveler that was basically our on-stream project before we did start with the page in Lost Ocean, and it's I call it the Bunny Girl, and oh, that's quite sticky. Probably have to put some wax paper in here to not damage that one in the future, because I'm really happy how that one turned out. We did also the background with Copic markers. The rest of it, because it's not as thin as a Amazon or copy paper, it's a little bit thicker, but it's still a rather on the thin side. So I haven't worked with any water-based media in here. I think it's too thin for that. So everything is colored with the Kalur colored pencils and the Kalur the pastel set. I think it's called Macaron, or they call their set Macaron. So yeah, those I have used basically for everything except for the metallic or glittery parts. There I have used again the hybrid dual metallic gel pens and the hybrid gel pens. Sorry, the book is doing a lot of noise when trying to show you all the glittery areas. Here also with the pearls. They are with the dual metallic ones. So yeah, that. And then I worked over the lines from these cloud thingies with a white Posca pen, and it was really not very opaque. I don't know why. Either I've got a really bad Posca pen, because a lot of people are obsessed with the Posca pens, and mine just is not opaque at all. Every time I use it, it's like a Chinese white, like a very translucent white. So I've gone over it with a white edding. Where do I have it? This was the Posca pen I've used, and then I go over it with that one, which is especially made for work on glass, metal and plastic, and that was a lot better, a lot more opaque than the Posca pen. I really want to try out, I don't know, I don't remember where I heard it, that the Moltov, I think it's a German brand, acrylic markers are the most opaque acrylic white markers. I really want to test one of them in the future, but we'll have to wait until I order something, because I won't order just one pen and pay €5 of packaging and transport costs from German art stores. So yeah, that's that, and I really like how this page turned out. Super happy. Second page in here, I've done that one. So we have one warm green and one cool blue page here, and yeah, love them both. Really awesome page. And yeah, I know we have now normally all of our WIPs shown, and we were at the finished pages, but I have one more WIP in this book. It's nearly done. It's the page I'm working currently on. I sadly couldn't finish it for Mermaid, because we did do a little weekend trip. So yeah, it is Ocean 2 Stars by Lydia Fenwick, and I'm totally obsessed with the book. All the pages are so beautiful. I want to color them all. Yeah, it's basically an astrological art book. I'm not someone who believes in astrology, but I love personified astrology signs. So yeah, the book is parted in 3 parts. We have in the end the stars page, where we would have one mermaid for Pisces. We have the how the people are. What's it called in English? Oh, totally. I would have to look it up, but yeah, like intuitive, artistic kind, the good and the bad, like unfocused, and so on. We have the star constellation, we have the animal, and we have the planet. In this area we have then the earth part. Here we have, in the stars we have full bodies. We have in the earth part we have only the headshots. You could also use the Pisces here as a mermaid page. We have here the colors, the gem and the flower, and then we have the water part. And in the water part all the signs are mermaids, not only Pisces. And here we do have the symbol, the date, and the shell for the sign. And I have done Aries, how it's pronounced in English. Like I said, it's not completely finished. I will have to do the stone formation and the smoke, and then it's NDI, and then it's finished. But I'm so happy how the skin and the tail turned out. It's done completely with Prismacolor. The paper is really good. I've based it with watercolors, and yeah, it turned out so good. I'm honestly a little bit proud of myself, and that is something that happens very rarely. I really like how the gold turned out and the color combination here. So yeah, that is what I'm currently working on, and hope to finish it in June. And yeah, we'll show you then the end result. But that is finally the last page. So thank you so much, guys, for watching this super long video. And yeah, really would love to hear from you guys. What are your experiences with oil pastels, for example? Do you have used them already? What was your favorite page or book? Or yeah, as always, I'm open to body colors. If you want to do a body color with me, just leave a comment. And yeah, hope to have you guys have a wonderful day. Thank you so much for watching. And yeah, as always, a thumbs up or a follow is very much appreciated because it really, really helps me in the channel. So thank you so much for that, and hope to see you soon in another video. Bye bye, guys.